Hey there everybody, it's Wayne D. Welcome to the website. And we're looking at my favorite subject of all, Tiger Woods. So I probably spent more time studying Ben Hogan, but Tiger has been the subject of probably more videos that I've done. And I've always been a Tiger defender because A, it's got the best record. I never understood why people would want to disparage him ever at all for any decisions he's made, because he simply had the best record by like 10 miles. So he's just better. So this tournament at the Hero Challenge, I thought his swing looked excellent, and as I've said over and over again, I thought that if he was healthy, he has a great golf swing. He's simply better than anybody else. So if his short game comes around, I think he's going to win. So here's 97 on the left. I should know what hole that is, but I don't. Somebody's going to know. And he's hitting a longer club, of course, but there's some differences we can talk about. He looks out over the ball more now than he did. If you watch where this club is, it's across the line. So when he started working with Butch, a little extra there, and the right knee, it was definitely driving this way, then he would really need to use the hands at the ball a little bit more, but tremendously powerful. Now, if you watch him now, I mean, you don't see too many guys swinging the club on plane like this. So at left arm parallel, if I take where the plane starts here, just inside the ball, and draw that up, look how perfecto that is. Now, look at the difference between that position and this one. You would have to say they're pretty close to the same length of swing. The wrist looks pretty similar, left wrist, but look how much more left that club is pointing. So in this one, at left arm parallel, he's over here, he crosses the line, and then he gets it back. Now this is like part of the genius of Tiger. Watch this. When he comes down now, that shaft is going to be pretty close to exactly on the money here, but maybe a couple of degrees of flattening, but not much. So in the previous swing, if you watch the hand path, it drops for a lesser period of time, say from here just to here, and then it begins to come way more out in front of him. So what he does, as long as he doesn't flatten the shaft too much, so when his hands drop here, they almost go straight down at his toes, and the club is right back, pretty much exactly the same, but a couple of degrees flatter. But he's got tons of angle here. So I've shown this angle is one of the sharpest for anybody. DJ has an angle like that coming down, and when you get that angle, that just means that there's depth in the hips enough for the right arm to have plenty of room, and you're not going to get stuck, especially when you have the shaft controlled, because it's not getting too flat. So if you're looking for a difference, what's the huge difference? I mean, obviously his swing now is way better than it was in 97, right? So if we take the 97 swing and we go up to 2000, and we look at let's look at an iron swing here. So you're going to see the of a Foley thing. It was a little more toward him. See the butt of the grip here is going to get a little closer to his body at the beginning, so a tiny bit of in. It just gets his left arm a little more across his chest than it did back in 2000, and you can see the shaft was a little flatter there too. But this is when he was still super full, but he fixed that cross up here by keeping his right arm more in front of him. But if you watch, the transition is going to be very similar. Watch the pelvis. So this is a hallmark of Tiger's. This is what allowed him in '97 when the club was crossed and coming in funky. You know, let's go, if we go back to that swing real quick. The whole key to the thing, if you watch the transition, take a look at right in here, and watch the belt buckle go backwards right there. So he's creating more pelvic tilt. Now back then, you know, he hadn't really studied the swing, he was more just doing what he was doing. So you can see these are things that he has fixed later in his career. That right leg was just spinning around, but he's so deep okay, the camera moved, so what I want to do is this is where I want to draw this line right here. So this is the biggest difference between now and then. Watch Tiger's hips. Now there's the magic move, right? It's the dig. It's the deepening of the hips while the right hip is twisting and driving forward. Twisting, and remember that it's going back and it's going forward and it's twisting hard. So this is where he's again now getting his left knee cleared while his left arm is above, parallel to the ground, so his hips are rotating great. And look how deep his right hip is here. See, it's behind the line. Now this is what he used to do, same thing. See it right there? But watch the finish. Watch what happens. Let's get rid of some of these lines here. So we go from left arm parallel. Watch the tush line. He hangs in there. Watch the finish. Now, again, left arm parallel, which is right about there. You can see the activity in the legs back in '90s. It's 20 years ago, right? So watch the end of this. So there's the difference right there. Look how his left hip stays deep, and now it does not. This is this is too hard to do now for him. So look at, he's more like that. It's probably a good idea. It's not optimum, but it's what he's probably going to need to do. Take pressure off his back and his left knee. But his swing is so good anyway that I'm just pointing out, some of the differences between now and back in the day. Oh, here's that 2000 swing again. So you can see not as crossed, but not as not as short as it was now, but still. If you watch the legs going through, watch how deep they stay. So pretty big difference there. But any of these swings that you see, you know, that happened at the Hero, just really look pretty awesome. But the thing people really should notice if they were going to try to emulate is what happens back in this, you know, right in here, where he'll get deeper, he'll add tilt, and now he's in position to take that left leg and just drive right up with it. So this is where you see the players now, you know, when the force plates are starting to measure vertical force, you know, this is where it's coming from. It's from being in position here to drive upward off that left leg and push that right in. Watch the head, and that's with a wedge. Boom. Alright, so it's probably enough. There's plenty of videos to do on Tiger. He's just the most interesting guy. So taking him through from, you know, in all the years in between now and way back when I was showing those swings, that's all pretty interesting stuff too. So, but he's swinging really well now. I mean, I really like it. I would prefer his hands not drop, but he's got such great shaft control that it really doesn't matter, because that's just a way to do it. Look how nicely that club is just not stuck, and he's deep. Look at the footwork. You know, he can't quite finish it off the way he used to, but still, this is really good, plenty good to win if he can putt. All right.